your encounter with Gene Kelly.
Oh, well, as you know, musicals are one of my great passions, and one of my favourites among my books is the Hollywood musical, which was, I think, again, the first. I seem to have done the first of a lot of things. Been a bit frustrated in doing a lot more because the would-be publishers lost confidence or got cold feet. But anyway, it's one of my favourite books among mine is the Hollywood musical. And in that, my feelings about Gene Kelly have always been ambiguous. Yes, he's made wonderful films, but never really liked him as this sort of exaggerated macho sort of thing. That, I think it's all summed up in the title of one of his television specials called Dancing a Man's Game. Oh, shit, you know. But, one of his wives, who I got to know well, told me once that she thought throughout his life he'd been suppressing or not admitting that he had a gay side and so on. So he was always over-insistent on this macho persona. Well, I mentioned this. I didn't say about his possible gay side, but I did say that in the Hollywood musicals that I didn't really like that bit. As well as admitting that my favourite film of all time is Singing in the Rain, so I can't be totally anti-Gene Kelly, God knows. And so I then when because at this time I was doing a lot of these sort of evenings with at the National Film Theatre, all sorts of people, stars, directors, and so on. And so when it was planned to have one with Gene Kelly, they asked me, they said, you've got to do it, obviously, you're the musical expert, as well as being the expert interviewer. So fine. And apparently, this I pieced together later on, but apparently when he was told that I would be doing he said, well, who's this guy anyway? And I said, oh, he's the best. He'll make you really look good. He's great at that. And so they said, well, what does he know about musicals? And I said, well, he's written the book about it. So apparently Gene, who hadn't come across the book before, went off and read it and found these references. So he went back and said, I'm not going to be interviewed by him. I mean, this guy hates my guts. And, said, no, you have to, because he's the best in the business and he'll make you look great. And so I had lunch with Gene in advance, and he was perfectly agreeable, and we discussed what we were going to talk about and all the usual thing. And on the evening at the NFT, as it happened, one of my oldest friends, a rich Pakistani that I knew from university days, one of his nieces was a mad enthusiast. She was learning to be a dancer, and she was a mad enthusiast for musicals and Gene Kelly, I suppose. And so I knew this, so I invited her and her best friend to come along to the evening, and the whole thing went off extremely well. It couldn't have done better. There's a book of the text of just by accident, it was the first of the Guardian lectures when they ceased, for fairly obvious reasons, to be the John Player lectures. And so it's in the book of Guardian lectures and so on, and it went perfectly. Everything was perfectly timed. The audience loved him. He loved the audience. Told interesting stories. All absolutely perfect. And then afterwards there was the party, and so of course my two young female friends were on there, along with Young, and so Gene was his usual charming self to everyone except me, and me he wouldn't speak to. I mean, obviously, as long as I could do him any harm, he was going to be nice as pie. But what interested me was that there was also there youngish, I mean, early 20s, I think, Korean girl, quite pretty, and Jean homed in on her and was talking to her, holding her face between his hands like that, and oozing charm and so on. And then and my two young friends were saying, you know, gee, that's so disillusioning. I mean, he's so awful in person. You know, we'll never admire him again. And so on. And there was an amusing moment when Young was sitting with the Korean girl, they were talking, and when Jean first came over, and he said to Young, "Are you her boyfriend?" And Young said, "No, I'm his." And but I mean, I wasn't surprised because Gene Kelly had never come over as a nice guy. I mean, he's a talented guy, yes, and a brilliant dancer, perfectly good director, and so on, but nice, I don't think so.
As a personality.
That's right. I mean, all those shots which he loved to get into all his films, where, you know, there's a smile on my face for the whole human race, or singing and dancing in the rain. Do you think, you know, I'd more likely to trust a shark, but still. So that was the sum of my acquaintance with Gene Kelly. Later on, as I was saying, I got to know Betsy Blair very well, because she was, I think, his second wife. Lovely lady.